Hello everyone and welcome to your study guide lesson, Solving Proportions, found on page 111. In this lesson we've learned about what a proportion is and how to use cross products. What does this mean? Well, a proportion is an equation stating that two ratios or rates are equal. They are proportional. We use cross products to identify if two rates or ratios are proportional. And how do we do that? Well, we use the product of the numerator of one ratio and the denominator of another ratio. So we go from numerator down across, so that the product of 2 times 8 is 16, or the product of 4 times 4 is 16. And that way we know that both of these are proportional. For a quick review and a key answer, let's write the definition of equivalent ratios in your own words. What's an equivalent ratio? Well, they are ratios with the same value. So one side equals the other side. So the same value or the same rate or constant of proportionality in simplest form. Meaning as one changes, the other side changes at the same rate or the same constant of proportionality when simplified. Okay, let's look at the real world link. Recipes. You can use a recipe to make anything when you are cooking. Cookies, cakes, muffins, even punch. An excellent party punch is made by mixing 1 gallon of fruit punch and 8 ounces of frozen sherbet. Write a ratio comparing the amount of sherbet needed for 1 gallon of fruit punch. Well, first I'm going to write my 8 ounces. I know that for every 8 ounces, I'm going to have 1 gallon of fruit punch, right? So 1 gallon of fruit punch, as you see here, 1 gallon of fruit punch, it's 8 ounces of frozen sherbet. So, and this is, I write the 1 at the bottom so that I have a unit rate, because if this goes up to 2, this will go up to 16, and so on. Suppose you have 3 gallons of fruit punch. Complete the ratio that compares the ounces of sherbet needed to the gallon of fruit punch. Well, over here we have our constant of proportionality, right? Our constant, meaning for every one we're going to go up by 8. So 2 would be 16, and if I have 3 gallons, I have to triple this. Triple this, you triple this. So if I have 3 gallons in the bottom, I'm going to need 24 ounces of frozen sherbet. Let's see. Number 3. Are the ounces of sherbet proportional to the gallons of fruit punch for 1 and 3 gallons? Explain. Well, yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I'll tell you why. Because when I actually write 8 ounces to 1 gallon and I divide it down, 8 divided by 1, I get 8. When I compare this and I say 24 ounces to 3 gallons and I divide it, 24 divided by 3, it still equals 8. So when you actually simplify the ratio, right, and you actually divide it to the simplest form, you're going to find that your constant proportionality is always 8. So please write, the amounts are proportional. Okay, it looks like we have another recipe here, sugar cookies. The recipe card shows the ingredients needed to make 1 dozen sugar cookies. Determine whether each ratio is proportional to the ratio of ingredients in the recipe. Justify your reasoning. Okay, so it looks like here, like we have 3 cups of sugar and 4 cups of flour. Okay? Let's see. What we've done is we have the original recipe here, and now we're trying to increase it. So here we have 3 cups of sugar to 4 cups of flour. 4 cups of flour. But let's see the actual recipe. Here we have 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of sugar, 2 cups of flour. So here in the original recipe, it doubles. Do you see that? It doubles. So for every cup of sugar, we should have double the amount of flour. So for 3 cups of sugar, we should have 6 cups of flour, but we only have 4. Okay, so no, this one is not proportional, because 3 out of 4, 3 cups of sugar for 4 cups of flour, is not the same as 1 cup of sugar for 2 cups of flour. Okay, let's see here, the next one. 4 tablespoons of milk, 8 teaspoons of powder. So it looks like it doubles in proportion. Not in tablespoons. Tablespoons are much larger, but the number, the units. We go from 4 to 8, that's double. Let's see here. Tablespoons of milk, 1. And teaspoons of sugar, 2. So you can see right there that it goes from 1 to 2. That one makes sense because it doubles, right? And over here goes from 4 to 8. So yes, that one makes sense. So we can say yes, this one is proportional because 4 over 8 is the same as 1 over 2. Please write this down as a key answer. Okay, for the next page, we have to, let's focus, let's bring that in a little bit more. Okay, right there. We have to use property of proportions, okay? Fill in the steps to solve. 15 over 16 is the same as 25. What did you do to the 5 to make it 25, right? We have to look at that. What did you do to it? You multiplied it by 5. So let's do the same to the 16. Okay, 16 times 5, and that can tell you a proportion. But we can also do it the way the textbook is teaching us. That's just my quick trick, where you multiply this by 5 because you know that's what you did to the top. So that would be 50, that would be 80, right? 80 in total. But let's see if we're right. Let's see if we're right. Okay, here we have to actually use cross product. So 5p equals 1625. 5p equals, in 16 times 25 is 400. Then you want to isolate the variable p, so you divide both sides divided by 5, or you could just bring the 5 over and divide 400 by 5, and you're going to have p equals 80. Okay, that's one way to do it. But what are these steps called? Well, in class you're going to hear me say expressions such as find the cross products. When I ask you to find the cross products, I'm asking you to multiply across. So find the cross products, and you will do the step. Then you will multiply. Okay, you will multiply, and then in order to isolate the variable, you will divide both sides by the number. Okay, or you can invert the operation. I often say that too. Invert the operation, meaning if you're multiplying on this side, divide on the other side. Bring in a 5 over and divide, do the opposite operation on the other side. But you can simply just divide each side by 5. In this case it's 5, but it's the coefficient. Okay, it's the number that is working with the variable, the coefficient. So you can divide each side by 5, and then finally you will simplify, which means you will divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, over here these two cross each other out, and you're only left with p, and you have 80. P equals 80. And these are your steps. So keep in mind that I will be using expressions such as find the cross products. And finally, let's use the constant of proportionality. Okay, find the constant of proportionality for each situation, then explain what it represents. So we have Mrs. Greener, Mrs. Greener bought 18 t-shirts for $144. I would put my $144 on the top, okay, and I'm going to put 18 at the bottom. If I divide the top divided by the bottom, I will find my constant of proportionality. When I do so, I get 8. So what does that mean? Each t-shirt costs $8. Ethan earned $70 for working 8 hours. So $70 for 8 hours. How much is he earning per hour? So we're going to divide 70 divided by 8. And I get 8 3/4, right? I divided it by 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Sorry, 8. Yes. 8 times 8 is 64. And then I'm left with 6 over 8, 6 out of 8, which I simplify to 3/4. And so it's 8 3/4, or 0.75, right? So Ethan earned $8.75 per hour. Number 3. An airplane travels 780 miles in 4 hours. 780 miles in 4 hours. If you're like me, you'll probably try to divide the 78 divided by 4, and then later on you'll add your 0 back in, right? When I do so, I get 19 and a half. So what does that mean? It means the airplane travels 195 miles in 1 hour. Okay, right, 2 to 3 sentences to summarize the lesson. Remember, we learned about proportions, about cross products. We learned to use the constant of proportionality, all in this lesson. So go ahead and write those things down. See you in class.